Hello everyone, welcome back. Well, I think today's the day. Right now we're waiting on Connor to show up with the hydraulic reservoir, a couple O-rings for the live hydraulic pump manifold that bolts to the bottom, and I don't think the fuel line has come yet, so we're going to improvise and use the old fuel line. Might have a drip with it, we'll see, but I kind of went through and double checked some things. I checked the timing on the distributor. Now with number 1 on top dead center, kind of the best way to static time it from what I'm told is, now Rudy helped me out with this, is get it on top dead center, and then you want to rotate the distributor to the point where the points are just starting to open on number 1. So that's what I did with that, tightened everything down, so we should be static timed. Connor might have to double check it with a timing light, but for right now, that's what we're doing. I also, like I said, I put in the fuel line, but I don't know if you guys can see at this point, but there's literally no hex left on that fuel fitting, so it's just a vice grip deal. Connected the choke linkage. I adjusted the clutch throw, which according to the manual calls for 7/8 of an inch. Right now we got about 1 1/16 inches, but I don't have much thread left on this rod to adjust it any more than that. So that's where that's going to stay. We installed the battery and had it on the charger, trickle charging all day today. So we should be good to go there. That's really about it. That's about all I've done, you know, just minor things. And yeah, we're just waiting on Connor to show up with that reservoir, get that in, the hydraulic pump manifold on, and then connect the lines. Top it off with fluids, and we should be good to try and start this thing up. So here's hoping. So stay tuned for that.
And that's all I have to say about that.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We got Connor here. I think we're going to try and finish up the Super M today. We got to put the live hydraulic pump reservoir back in it, finish connecting the lift all rod, dump a bunch of fluids in it, and then I think what we might do, instead of just dry cranking it, we might pull it around the yard with the spark plugs out, just to get the oil circulating and kind of, you know, prime the pump, if you will. So without further ado, let's get things started here. And let's see, I don't know where to put you. Why don't we just put you right here? We're going to try and slide this live hydraulic pump in place, or the reservoir, I should say. But I got to get my gloves on. You know me, never prepared.
Of course, that stupid little vent don't help anything.
Just watch out for the guns. They'll get you.
Close enough. And then we got to get some bolts ready. This goes here. There's a couple of spacers. They're about 1 inch long, if I had to guess, but they're just like a heavy wall pipe that go underneath the mount bracket. I'm not sure why. Wonder if this one is the side that had the washers on it. One of these had a stack of washers under it because they didn't really do this correctly, so. Just kind of playing it by ear here. Figuring out how it was in here. Okay, so that one's in.
I'll be your little acting cameraman.
You're the best. So, basically, Connor, since you weren't here when this came apart, this side had a spacer underneath, and the other side had a stack of washers.
Oh.
But I don't think this is going to be enough washers.
Interesting.
Yeah, not even close. So, because they should have those spacer pipes underneath there.
So what's this other one now?
I don't know, I don't know where it came from, but it wasn't on there because it's too tall.
Right, I see that.
So I'm just going to grab a bunch of,
Interesting.
just going to grab a stack of them and go with what we can here. I think that's going to be right about the correct height. So the difficult part is getting them all in there and keeping them aligned.
Looks like something Rick Bork would do.
Yeah, maybe.
Of course, now he's got a fancy little lathe, so he can lathe out turn out a ordeal.
Well, I mean, what we could do is just cut this down, but
More time consuming.
right. It's like 90 degrees and 1,000% humidity out here.
It's nasty.
And besides, this is factory.
Yeah, it's already the way it's supposed to be, for sure.
Just looking for a wrench and a rag here. Wrench and a rag. Oh, it's a 5/8. What the heck? Actually, I'm going to grab a socket instead. And for those who are curious about my vehicle, yes, I did get a new vehicle. So I'm back on the road again. Okay, that's in place. So now we have to connect I believe the correct term for this is the manifold. Did you put the O-rings in place?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. Well, while you're working on that, I'll put the engagement rod back in place for the lift all. So there's this bare wire that I'm pretty sure goes to your hour meter. But I'm just putting some shrink tube on it so you don't have a bare end just hanging off. Good enough.
Yep.
Good enough. Guten tight. Okay, so now what do we got left? Fluids?
Fluids.
Did you bring that fuel line or no?
I do have it, but I seen that you put the old one on already, so I didn't know if you wanted to screw around with it or not.
Well, it only takes a second to take it off.
I'll go grab it.
If we're here, right? Okay, well, we've filled it up with fluids. We got a leak.
This cover.
I figured it was going to leak. That's all right. It is what it is for now.
Yep.
Can't do nothing about it now. But, so we got a leak. We pulled all the spark plugs out, but this cover's leaking.
On both corners.
Yeah, I knew it was going to leak there because these corners were bent way out. So
Are they really?
what I did after I put it on was I took a medium-sized brass drift and I hit it lightly, not to ruin the gasket, but I tried to bend these corners in. And obviously it didn't work as well as I'd hoped. But luckily it's just a slow drip. So
It might be enough to make it home.
probably be enough to make it home, but either way we're going to have to drain the coolant, or you're going to have to drain the coolant,
Yeah.
and probably
Address
replace that plate. But the good news is you don't have to pull any of this off to get this plate out.
Just that.
You just pull this rod,
Yep.
the governor rod, and that'll come right off. So it is what it is. Those water jacket plates, even with a brand new one, the H leaked, squatches leaked, you know, they're just, it's hit or miss with those things. So
Well, and the thing with yours and Squatches too was it was that stupid gasket.
yeah,
The gasket's split,
So-
yeah.
and that could be with this too. You know, you never know. It could be the gasket, but I'm put my money on the plate. So anyways, we got the spark plugs out. We're gonna hook the case up to the front, pull it out, and put her in gear and see if we can get some oil pressure up.
Good idea.
And then try and start it if we got oil pressure. So here's hoping. All right, let's see if we can build some oil pressure. Got the clutch in. We'll go on the road. We got oil. Probably that copper washer. They didn't give us a very good one. And I don't have any that fit. I don't know if I have it. It was a big piece of, it's like a big piece of lead. We're gonna try and I'll just make sure it's out of gear. All right, so we got a couple leaks, but we're gonna give it a shot.
The suspense is terrible. He's gonna go this time. I hope it'll last.
Can't argue with that. Sounds pretty good.
Oh, really nice.
First start.
Huh?
First start.
Right away.
Who says Kenny Kizzle's a hack?
I'm shutting it off right at that.
It's squirting oil everywhere. So, if you guys can't see, this crush washer is a copper crush washer, and the one that came with the filter was not very good. So we got to get a new crush washer for that. But we got a running tractor, just like that, fired up first try. What do you think, Connor?
I'm excited.
How many months? You dropped it off in what, October, November, something like that?
It's been 84 years.
Yeah, I think it was October.
Late October.
Late October.
Here we are. So that's as much as we're gonna run it. Actually, we're gonna run it a little bit more because we gotta, well, we can pull it with the chain. We'll keep it outside now. I want my garage back.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
But Connor's we're gonna take that bolt out. We'll probably just, hey, we can use those blue plugs to put in there to keep water out. So, but we'll throw the hood on. Yeah, the fuel line's dripping too. Brand new fuel line.
They're crappy fittings.
So,
Thanks, Steiner.
it runs. It runs really good, actually. It sounded good.
Sounded really nice.
So we don't want to rev it right up right away, especially with that oil leak, but can't argue with that. How's that for a grand finale? Well, what do you think, Connor? How do we do?
I think I'm happy with it.
Yeah. Minus the leaks, but
What do you expect?
yeah. It runs. We got it pulled over into the yard over here. Well, let's walk over there. So we have the water jacket leak, fuel line leak, and the oil filter housing.
Yep.
But that one's easy.
Yeah, that's easy of all of them.
The water jacket one, that's not a terrible thing either. It's just,
Fuel line might not be much either. It might just need more tightening.
yeah, maybe. You just got to be careful with that sediment bowl because it's just pot metal.
Yep.
So they'll strip out easily. But there she sits. Just waiting for a copper crush washer underneath that bolt for the fuel filter or the oil filter housing. And then she'll probably be going home. So I think that's all we got for this video. It's done. What do we got? 14 episodes? I think this is 14. 14 in an engine rebuild. So, along with the several that you had trying to get it running right, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad it runs. And it seemed to run pretty well. We'll know when we can, you know, put some throttle under it and put a load on it and see where the timing is at. And I'm sure there'll be some fine tuning as far as rotating that distributor, but it runs. So that's all there is. That's all I got. See you guys later.
Yes! That's awesome!